Hello, good evening. I'm Tohir Rahman, a senior mobile app developer. Here I'm showing you how the project is working and what's the step I follow to create this project. Okay, so let's start. At first, I just create my project as well and push that project in initial comment with GitHub. And then I add my task which should I have to done in this project. So here's my task that I have to use a photo API, public photo API, and here's I'm using Flickr API. Also, here's a user can tap the photo, and here's need a gallery. As you know, if it's need to be create a gallery, then it should be a grid type app. So here's a grid. Here should be a grid. Then if a user click on the grid, then it comes should be uh, full screen. And also I'm using pinch zoom in full screen. Thus user can look the photo with zoom features and using infinite scroll, so user can easily scroll and get new images by scrolling. So these are the tasks I have done in this project. So let's start how can I do the other things. So at first I'm adding my dependencies which should I use in this projects. So I'm using here cache network image, and uh, the dependency is uses for showing images from the network, and I'm using shared pref, flutter toast, showing for using this for showing the toast. Pinch zoom I've already says it's using to show image in zoom when user pinch in full screen. Also here's uses do. It's a most popular library which is a wrapper of HTTP uses for network call and pretty deologger and deologger. These are the logger dependencies. By using this, I have get the responses and check that in my console human log section. Also, I'm using here get and get. And then that means using getx. This is uses for state management. So these are the dependencies uses in my projects. After that, I'm creating the theme for this project in the config section. So here's the app thing. These are most of these is a boilerplate. So I'm using this in my most of in my previous apps of or others apps as. So here's the app color which is uses in these apps and other things. Then I added my routes. There could be two screen. One is for photo gallery and one is for full screen. So I just added two routes here. Then a theme helper. This is helpful for theming the text. Then I just create the gallery screen. So I'm create the photo gallery. Here you can see feature under feature. Here's the gallery directory, and under gallery directory here's the view and photo gallery dot dirt file. So this is the what should I say, this is the class which is uses for showing the photo gallery in initial state. I'm using here a grid And in grid you can see here's a custom wizard, that's PG image, and a list of photo. Here's the photo. Here's the photo list. On also a scroll controller, which is helps us to uh, s- to what I say, to use this for listening the scrolling, and trigger this, and with this, with the help of this, we can call the next pages. So at first, I'm showing you the BG image wizard. It's a common wizard I'm creating here. When user pass the image URL, then it will shown with the uh, cache network image wizard here. And if a user tap on this grid photo, then it should be move on next page, and that means the photo full screen page with the photo URL. Thus the full screen page also load the image from this URL. And in this case, the photo is in cover, box with cover, and thus in grid view the photo will be covered on each section. Otherwise, okay, so you say here's the option is clickable, and by default is clickable is true. So if is clickable is true, it should shows the photo in grid pattern, and if is clickable is false, that means we are in full screen page. So the photo will be shown with pinch zoom facilities. So I'm using a pinch zoom here, and the user can pinch zoom with this, and the max scale will be 2.5 2.5, and the duration need to be 100 ms. Okay, so that's it. Now we are in photo gallery. Sorry. So now we are in photo gallery, and you see a photo list. So let's see how a photo list comes. So here's the model for the photo, and the photo list is come from a service, that's a photo API service in photo. So we are going to photo API service. In photo API service, so we can see API helper. So, and here's a function that we use to get the photo. When we pass the pages, initially it would be one, then two, three, four, and so on. So when we pass the pages, and then with this help of the helper, we call we call here and get the response, and after that do we from the help of photo model of this function, we change this response to our photo model. So here you can see API helper is also custom class. So we just go to the API helper class, and you can see here's a method. It's also a custom method. That's a get method which returns dynamic. So you can return anything with this method. So when the user pass the path and the queries for this request, and other things. So here's the default here. I'm also using RDO, and this is the uses for the API call. You can also use HTTP, but DO is a wrapper of the HTTP. So it's a little bit easier to write or calling and anything. And here is to interceptor for this DO. Thus we can get the response in console here. Then if the responses come, then we have to we have to remove few strings from the response, otherwise we cannot make this as a JSON. So we just remove few strings and make this as JSON and return that. And if there's any error, then we are using few. Using few exceptions. That's bad request exception, unauthorized exception, feature data exception, or others. These all are my custom exception classes. So so far so good. So okay, then by this way get we are in photo gallery page, and in initial state we call the first pages. So the page initial state, the page is initially value is 1, and when I call this list, the if this list is coming, then we add all the list with the previous one, and in set state method, in set state method, that means after adding this, the method will be trigger will after adding this, our view will be triggered. So grid view builder will be triggered and we get the new images. Yeah. And after that, I'm using infinity scroll. For infinity scroll, um, as I have already said, I'm using scroll controller. So in a scroll controller, when a user in the half of the list of the images, then the next page will be called. So I'm increased the page value of 1. So the next page is calling when the first half is showing to the user. So then a new image is comes and add with with the previous list, and trigger, and also set a state method, in set a state method, so that the grid view also triggered that time, and new added images also added with the photo list section. So a user feels in infinity scroll with this code. So after that, if the user click any of the grid, then goes to the full screen page. And in full screen page, there's the image URL which we have to pass here, and after that the image will be shown here, and also with the facility of with the features of pinch zoom, and here's I'm using a stack. Thus here's the icon I'm using to go back with the help of navigator.pop. So user can tap the back button, or the or these button to get back, full screen to grid view page. And here's also few things like photo API service. So I've already shown you the photo API service. Here's the model which I'm using for photo. So for photo listing, here's the photo model, and photos and photo. So these are my models. And in after that, I have API helpers. It's already shown to you. Then my custom exceptions. These are my custom exceptions for APIs. And URL path. It's a util class for calling the API. And here's the server info class. So with in the server info class, so we get the URL, API key, and the method which I'm using to call the this. And in value section, you can find few things that the dark theme course in here, and also the default theme course in here, and in common wizard, I created a function for pg image, and I've already shown to you. So in the last one is in main section, in main, I mean in main dot dirt. I'm using the get material app, and in this the theme will be changes with the system theme, and also I'm adding this the theme, that means the default theme and that theme, um, and here's on generated route. So by default, the on generated route, that means when a user open the app, by default the route should be photo gallery. So photo gallery page is open by default, and otherwise it couldn't be open by the route. So if the route name is photo gallery, then the photo gallery will be open. Otherwise, if the name is full screen, then the full screen page will be open with but here's we need the argument, that's the URL. And here I'm using a photo route builder. It's also a custom builder which help us to show user where the transaction move in navigation, in page navigation. So that's the app, and I've done all of this task in this app. I hope so you will find all of this with this application as well. So thank you very much for your timing.